Absolutely. One of the things that obviously stands out in that book, to me personally, and I'm sure to a lot of other people who've seen it, is the infamous picture between Erik Daniellson and Selim Lemouchi in Uppsala, Sweden, I believe, in 2013,
Hmm.
if I'm correct about the dates, of the two of them, I think, sharing a cigarette or something,
That's
and
correct. Yes.
yeah, and that is a very very special one. I mean, I can only imagine, like, I mean, what even goes through your mind at a moment like that, because moments, right, when you're experiencing life, a lot of times, I mean, you can be as present as you want in the moment, and that's a beautiful thing, but I feel it is only afterwards or later down the line where it's almost like a memory grows a life of its own, and it just becomes more powerful as time goes on. And I mean, obviously in the case of that particular picture, what happened within a year after that and everything, with the obviously Selim's passing, it's I think it's powerful. I mean, what even goes through your mind when you're in a moment like that? And obviously, you don't know what's going to unfold in the future, but just the fact that you were there and then you're just like taking a picture. What's sort of the thought process behind that? And then now reflecting back on it after this time.
Well, as I'll say, the thought process comes after, and
Mhm.
at the moment there is no thought.
Yeah.
It is an instinctual, sort of, yeah, yeah, just like feeling that, like to take a picture, basically.
Mm.
And I mean, in that particular one, of course, I had no idea that that was going to be the last time I would see Celine alive. And of course, that the picture would become such, such a symbol, such a strong image, considering, I mean, what everything they convey. I mean, you don't know. I mean, you take people, well, so you take pictures of people while they are alive, you know. But I mean, I remember that day it was, we had been doing some pictures, having some interviews, and we just went to the Canyons, which is a place where the Watain and the Uppsala people tend to hang out a lot, and where I took the very first pictures of Watain as well. The very first time I worked with them, we did some pictures by the cannons pointing to the church, and it was kind of like towards the end of the day, and it was a very much like just some friends hanging out kind of mood. And in those situations, I many times I kind of like I need to switch off from like being a professional photographer into like like just sensing situation. But
Mm.
it felt it was kind of okay and to take pictures, and I just literally took a couple of pictures, 2 or 3 pictures, not more than that.
Wow. Okay.
And but one of them, it was, I mean, there was this, I mean, aesthetically it was beautiful, it was a moment that you
Yeah.
really wanted to capture, because it was like the silhouette and the the light going down, and so they had that magic, visual magic. And yeah, and I just took a few pictures, and that was that. And then it um unfolded the way it did. I mean, that's something that I would not really but it's more like, it was just many times I just see things and I'm like, oh my god, this is, I have to capture this,
Mm.
I have to, because every moment is so ephemeral, it disappears so quickly, every moment is different, it's a tiny little bit different. And with photography, that really shows you that, because if you a picture taken 1 second after another, they are different.
Yeah.
There is and that shows that there is always a moment, a change. And especially when it comes to people, like people don't hold their faces or their expressions for more than like a half of a second. There is
Yeah.
always this kind of ongoing, like, changing nature that you try to, and if there is something that makes you feel like you want to capture, you want to capture it, because you want to almost freeze it, you want to stop for it. It's both, you take a picture, and you stop it changing in some ways. I mean, it changes, but you've captured the picture. You have a static still image of a moment that it
Mm.
many times you don't even see that moment.
Absolutely.
Because is when you take the picture that you actually, sometimes you actually get to see the moment. And that happens a lot in live photography. If you see the picture, you've missed the picture. So when you take the picture, it's almost you have to feel it, the moment, and then like, and then you capture it.
No, absolutely. This definitely set up something in my head now, because now I mean, if you really think about it, a big part of art in its different formats is capturing time, in a sense. Obviously, photography is very specific in that, but life is constant movement. I mean, like you said, even if you take, like, I don't know how many pictures, like if you take 60 pictures within 1 minute, they're all going to be different. And obviously, having done band photography and things like that, I'm familiar with this. Like you look through the pictures and there's never one that's exactly the same. I 100% get behind that. But I feel like there's a deeper sense to this, that with art, we're constantly, it's almost like a part of us, intentionally or not, you're always grasping onto time somehow. I mean, even someone a few years ago, I was speaking to this gentleman he's not even a metalhead or anything, but he said this really interesting quote, and it was that music is a way of decorating time, which I thought was that's fucking great, right? And if you think about it, it's exactly like that. Life is constant movement. Even myself and you and myself talking right now, every second that's going by, it's like you can't repeat that anymore. Every event that's happening around the world and in the cosmos, it's once that's happened, then we're moving forward only. And I think that's really the beauty of art, is that is obviously part of it is just being present in the moment and doing things, but then the fact that we have the capability of capturing moments